Aloha everybody, this is Dave Wallace coming to you from my backyard here in Wahiawa, Hawaii, and welcome to our Sunday Talk Story Time. Today I'd like to share with you something that we make just about every year. We make a batch, and this is prune mui. For those of you not familiar with what prune mui is, prune mui is a mixture of dried fruits that we have. All of the dried fruits that we enjoy eating, we can put it together. Some of the fruits in here include prunes, as prune mui says. Okay, we have prunes, chopped up dried mango, uh, lemon, different types of lemon, dried lemon, fresh lemon, and any other fruits that we find that's we enjoy eating again. It can be dried peaches, it can be dried cherries. All of these dried fruits are combined together and stewed. Okay, so you get all of the dried fruits together, put it in a pot, and fill it up with water and boil it. And after the fruits begin to break down a little, we begin adding ingredients. And some of the main ingredients to make prune moi: sugar. Okay, it can be either brown sugar or white sugar. Some people may use a monk fruit to keep it keto friendly as possible. Um, and so there's a sweetening agent. Next thing you add in is a bunch of lemon juice. That's where you get the sour. Okay, and after putting the lemon juice, the one flavor that you need, the spice that you need to give it the lihing mui taste, or the oriental flavor, is Chinese five spice. And if you enjoy the taste of the anise or anise, however you pronounce it, star anise or anise, you can throw some of that in there, and you let it stew. Okay, and we make these we make these quite often. My wife enjoyed making these and gifting it. In fact, these are really good ideas. This is about a quart size, and this is a good idea for a gift during Christmas. Christmas is right around the corner, so some of our friends and family up in the mainland are going to be getting some of this in their care packages. Anyway, this particular one was made over a year ago, and it's been sitting on the shelf, and we just cracked it open. And so I really like this batch. And for those of you local people who make this all the time, you know, you know. I know you know, all right? And here's the primary ingredient: prunes. Okay, and I'm gonna sample this. Nice and tart. And for those of you who know, you know, I know you know. And so, man, right now you may be feeling a pain shoot up your jaw right up to your brain. Anyway, excellent. So the reason why I'm sharing with you this the prune mui is making preserves out of dry fruits is a tradition that we have here in the islands, and it every time I open up a bottle of prune mui and begin eating it, it takes me back to my childhood days growing up on the island of Molokai. And we didn't make prune mui when we were growing up on Molokai. Okay, in fact, we couldn't afford it basically. Okay, getting all our fruits together, it can be really expensive. Okay, but what we did on Molokai is that we made mango seed and pickled mango. And all of this was made during the summer months when the mango season was was in season, and especially in the early part of the summer, when the fruits are just coming out and they're green. Those are the ideal times when you should be picking up mangoes to make either pickled mango or mango seed. Now, the reason why I remember the making the process that we went through is that for our family, there are not too many things that we did together as a family that I recall. Okay, I may be wrong, but the things that we did as family, we went to the beach a lot. That's one thing that we did. But the activity that brought us together and where we worked together as a family unit was making mango seed and picking mangoes. Okay, and in fact, when it was time for us to go out, my dad would uh, load up a bunch of buckets onto his old truck, and the place that we would pick mangoes, we didn't have that many mangoes on our property. In fact, we had one big tree that rarely gave any fruits when we were little. However, there was a place where my dad had a friend, and this place was down in Cavella, just outside of Kanakakai, and it's a hot, dry place, and it's low, close to the ocean, and it has all of these older common mango trees. Common mangoes were our favorite mangoes to pick because they were abundant, they're small, just right size, not these monster size mango, and people didn't mind sharing common mango with us. If you had Haitian mangoes, no, it was gold. Okay, so not too many people let you pick up the Haitian mangoes to make pickled mango or mango seed. So common mango was our goal. So as a family, we'd all load up onto the truck and we'd head down to Cavella. And this place that we used to go in was just off the road, and it was near the Cavella battleground, and it was an old battlefield that was out there, and right before a marsh, and there was a big wetland area. Just before that, on the mountainside of the road, there's a pasture area, and when we drove into the place, first thing you could see was a bunch of domes in the ground, and these were cement domes. There were 5 or 6 of them, and these domes were kilns. They were made out of cement, and the family that owned this place used to make charcoal out of kiawe wood. So you cut down the kiawe trees and cut down the stalks um, and stack up the kiawe inside these kilns and fire it to make charcoal. Okay, and scattered throughout this property were just a bunch of common mango trees, and some of these trees were pretty high. And so when we went in, my dad a lot of times carried a long bamboo stick, and we'd basically try and pick the lowest hanging fruits that were available, and so he'd reach up and knock them down. And for me and my 3 sisters and my brother, we'd have our little buckets and we'd scramble around just like finding Easter eggs on the ground. Now, not the ground was covered with leaves, so when the mangoes fell, the mangoes wouldn't get bruised or busted open, and so it landed on the leaf, and the leaves, the stack of leaves was thick, where the fruit would just land and bounce, and so cushion the fall and wouldn't destroy that. So we scramble, the 5 of us would scramble around looking for the fruits that were knocked down and put them inside our bag, and sometimes we play contests with each other who could pick up the most mango. And this made the work fun. And so we scramble, spend time going from tree to tree. My dad knocking down the mangoes and us picking out the mangoes. Then my mom would, help us load the mango into a bigger container. And in no time, we would fill up all of our containers with the mango. And the mangoes that we were going after were not the ripe mangoes. We were looking for the green or half ripe mangoes. Those are the ones that we were looking for. Several times when we went to this place, I remember there was an old Hawaiian lady, no teeth, and she spoke Hawaiian most of the time. And my dad could converse with her, but we couldn't understand what was coming out of her mouth. But the way she dressed, if she was alive today, we call her a homeless person because she was just dirty. And but this woman was always there, and so my dad, knowing that this woman would be there, I'm not too sure if she was a caretaker or something. My dad would make sure that he bought food for her, and food can be in the form of sandwiches, can be rice, can be poi, fish, anything that we had that this woman would enjoy eating. So we take down some food and feed this woman. And while we're picking up mangoes, this woman would be going around looking for the riper mangoes that fell. And I remember her peeling the mangoes and trying to suck on the mango while she was while we were scrambling around looking for other mangoes. And she was really good natured. Woman reminded me a lot of my grandma Ellen. So this is the kind of childhood memories I had. Our family working together, picking up the mango. Now, after you pick up the mango, that's the easy part. The harder part is taking the mangoes home, washing them, and sorting them out, and then peeling it. Okay, so all of us would have our potato peelers and buckets of unpeeled uh, mango, and we'd be, scraping off the peels, and then throw them inside a bucket filled with water and wash off all of the mangoes. And after the mangoes were peeled, my dad and mom would take a cleaver and chop the mangoes in half, and then would help clean out the seed from the mango and making sure that the inside of the mangoes was all taken care of. And that we did cooperatively, you know, making sure that the mango was clean. Because if the mango wasn't clean and you start putting them away, it would turn rancid, and all kind of different things would grow in there and spoil the batch. So we did that. After all of the mangoes was cleaned, in fact, during the cleaning process, that's where we started sorting out the really green and crunchy green mangoes on one side, and the other mangoes that were larger and beginning to ripe, we kept that separate. The greenest mangoes we kept on one side, and that became mangoes that we would use for pickling. Okay, and I remember the pickling normally occurred on the same day that we cleaned the mangoes, because after we start chopping up the mangoes and washing the mangoes, my mom and dad would, my mom or my dad would go into the kitchen and start pouring out salt, sugar, and vinegar and coloring, and just make that mixture. And that was a pickling sauce. And so the whole house would be smelling of vinegar. And of course, when you're smelling of vinegar and you are handling the fruits and stuff, oh, your jaw's just shooting up, and oh, it's smelling so good and tempting. So after doing the pickling sauce, we get all of the jars lined up and put the mangoes in. Some of the mangoes we have to chop down further into quarters so it can fit. And then after piling up the mangoes inside the jars, then my mom would pour the pickling sauce in and we'd seal it. All of the jars that we used were jars that we'd saved up throughout the year, jars that were filled with mayonnaise. So dog's getting excited. So mayonnaise jars, either the gallon size or the quart size were the ones that we use. So the pickling would, after the pickling would be done and stuff, and we stack up all of the pickles, pickle mangoes, and my dad then would write the date, because the date on the caps, so that and we counted for about a week. Okay, so we gave ourselves about a week to let it sit, and the mangoes had to sit so that it could soak up the sauce and the flavors. Okay, so with that out of the way, the next thing we do is all of the mango that was set aside for mango seed. These are the half-ripe ones or the large green mangoes. My dad would gather them up together and throw them inside a big bucket, and he'd add Hawaiian salt in there, and he'd mix it and mix it and mix it. And of course, we just there as kids watching my dad doing this and talking story with him, and once in a while we reach in and says, "Oh, look, Dad, this is too small." And we pick out one and start munching on them, green mango with salt. And just doing that as a family and stuff was really fun. My dad and mom didn't mind us doing that. I mean, good grief, we worked hard for it, so she didn't mind us sampling. So the first part was salting. The first part of making mango seed was salting the mango, and my dad would leave it in a container for a couple days to make sure that the salt would be infused in the mango, and you could tell the mango began to shrivel up. Looks like your fingers when you go swimming. Everything kind of like beginning to shrivel and shrink a lot. And it's really interesting too, doing this process, that the water from the mango would settle, and yeah, in the beginning of the process there's hardly any water. Doing the drying, doing the salting, there's a lot of water that accumulates, so you just pour it out, add a little bit more salt, and after several days of doing this, the next thing is that you need to take these half mangoes that have been cut in half and take it out and dry it in the sun. And that became my job, to take all of these mangoes that were in the pot and take it out and lay it on the top of our garage roof. Now, our garage roof, we lived on a split level home, and the main level of our house, where you had the living room and kitchen and the 3 bedrooms, were all up on the first level, and below that level we had a garage and a basement, kind of like a basement area. So my dad built a roof over the garage, and to get to the roof of the garage, you could either enter through the side. You had to kind of like get up on the side of the house and walk up, cling to the side of the of the house, and then get onto the roof of the garage. Or you could enter the garage. You could get on the top of the garage roof by climbing out of our bedroom, our kids' bedroom, the second bedroom in the house. And that's how I accessed the roof. Every day I would climb out of the window and put out the mango to dry. And so we put out some paper, newspaper, uh, covering the top of the roof, and then I just lay down the mango. And so my job was to put it out in the day, in the morning, and if it was if I was home early after school, I'd climb up there and turn over the mango seeds so that the other side of the mango could be dried, and we wait until the sun begin to set, and that time I'd climb back up onto the roof and um, take the mangoes out and put them inside. Put them inside a bag and wait until the next morning. Now my dad would let the mango. I would have to keep this process up until my dad said we were ready, and so um, once in a while we have to kind of like sample the fruit to see if the mango is actually dry and ready for the next stage. And once that was determined, all of the mangoes would be put, all of this dried mangoes, which now are really shriveled up and small, um, my dad would put it inside a pot, cover it with water, and let it boil for a while. And after it begins to reconstitute for a bit, then the ingredients like brown sugar, star anise, and Chinese spice, along with food coloring, red food coloring, would be added in, and cook it and stew it. Sometimes my dad would also put in lemon juice. So it's that sugar, lemon juice, and Chinese spice seem to be the key ingredients for the mango seed. So this was a family effort, okay, and all of us had our own jobs. And the best thing about making mango seed and pickled mango is that for the mango seed, as soon as it's done cooking and finished stewing, and it begins to cool off, you can eat it right then and there, no problem. So the timing between getting the getting the mango seed and the pickle mango kind of like work out where they'd be ready at the same time. And since most of the mangoes would, since this process would begin either right at the beginning or middle of summer, by the time the mango seed and pickle mango is ready, school would start. Okay, and by the time school would start, we'd have jars just loaded with mango seed and pickle mango. And when school started, my older sisters, Yona and I, became entrepreneurs. And as entrepreneurs, every day before school started, we'd get a jar of mango seed or pickle mango, whichever one we wanted to sell during that day, and whichever one was less messy. And so we'd make small packages of mango seed or pickle mango, wrap it up in plastic, and we'd sell them for either a quarter or 50 cents, depending how much it was. So we'll go into school. We arrive early in the school day, and all of a sudden and stuff, if people know that we're selling mango seed or pickle mango, a big crowd surround us, and by the time the bell ring for us to go to class, we'll all get our money, and all of our supply would be gone for the day. And by then and stuff, we have orders for the next day. So um, we we did that until our supply of mango and mango seed was gone. So my dad also taught us that for people that took care of us and were really good to us, that we should share. And of course, when mango season came and pickle mango, I had pickle mango and mango seed. My favorite teachers would get theirs too. Okay. Anyway, so these are some of the memories that I have of growing up on Molokai and mango seed and preserved seeds. Okay. So I wrote a short story about this process, and it's published in OEV, Native Hawaiian Journal. I believe it's the second. Um, I think it's the second edition. Okay, so that was published in there, and I also entered that story into a contest that was held here in Hawaii, and it did appear published in the newspapers. Okay, way back when. Okay, so anyway, it's important that we remember these times. When families, our family work together and recall these moments, not only for ourselves but for generations to come. Okay, and to share it with other people so that it can be uplifting for them. Okay, and in this time of the year where we're beginning to celebrate many thanks and things that we're thankful for, I'm very thankful for my family, my parents, my brothers and sisters, and my children, and Mo'opuna grandchildren, and we have one great grandchild in Florida. So I love them, and I love you folks, and um, pray that everyone is safe. Anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed this story time as much as I enjoyed telling it. And if you do enjoy the stories, please share it with other people and subscribe to my channel, please. Okay? Anyway, until next time, until next week, okay? This is Dave Wallace from Waihawa, Hawaii, saying aloha.